In the hidden corners of our hearts, there exist emotions and experiences we often choose to carry in silence, pain that lingers, dreams that seem out of reach, and struggles that weigh heavily on our spirits. These things remain unspoken not because we lack the courage to share them, but because they are deeply personal and sacred. For those who walk closely with God, this silence is not a mere act of avoidance, but a deliberate and strategic choice. As Lewis insightfully wrote in The Problem of Pain, we can ignore even pleasure, but pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Silence, in this sense, becomes a tool through which we listen to God, allowing him to shape and strengthen us without interference from the world. There's immense power in maintaining that inner sanctuary where your soul is shielded from judgment and external opinions. It's a place where the dreams that God has planted within you can grow quietly, unexposed to the scrutiny or doubt of others. Some battles are meant to be fought in solitude, in the sacred space where only God sees. Not every person is meant to witness your journey, and not every heart is equipped to understand the depth of your walk. Lewis reminds us in Mere Christianity that faith is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted. In spite of your changing moods, this echoes the importance of guarding your spirit, especially in times when revealing too much could lead to misunderstanding or discouragement. In life, there are moments when we are tempted to open up about our pain, thinking that sharing it might lead to comfort or release. But here's the deeper truth: some burdens are meant to be laid before God alone. In this sacred intimacy with him, we find a strength that the world cannot give. There is a deep wisdom in keeping certain struggles between you and God, allowing his divine guidance to light your path, rather than seeking validation from those who may not fully grasp the magnitude of your journey. When you consider the rejections, the disappointments, and the heartbreaks you've faced, you might feel an urge to shout out your frustrations, to demand that the world see the injustice. Yet, as Lewis so profoundly observed, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Jesus embodied this truth during his time on earth. He faced rejection, betrayal, and unimaginable suffering, yet in moments when defending himself seemed so natural, he chose silence. His silence was not a sign of weakness, but a reflection of his deep trust in God's plan. He understood that not every battle required a response, and not every accusation needed to be answered. Sometimes the most powerful defense we can offer is the silence that comes from knowing our lives are held in the hands of a sovereign God. In those quiet moments, we preserve the purity of our mission and shield our spirits from the unnecessary noise of the world. Silence, then, is not an empty void, but a space filled with God's presence. It is where transformation happens. It is in the silence that God speaks to us most clearly, shaping our hearts and refining our character. The Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 12:9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." When we bring our silent struggles to God, he fills those spaces with his grace, and in time he brings about the vindication we seek in ways we could never have imagined. So as you carry your silent battles, remember that silence is a form of trust, a profound acknowledgement that God's timing is perfect, that his plan is unfolding even when the world sees nothing. Let your silence be a testimony to your faith. Trust that the dreams God has placed in your heart will bloom in his time, and that the pain you carry is not in vain. As you walk through this season, keep close to him, knowing that what is sown in silence will one day be harvested in glory. In our walk with God, there are sacred aspects of our journey that are meant to remain hidden, known only to him. This isn't secrecy for secrecy's sake, but rather a form of spiritual protection and wisdom. As Lewis often reminds us, faith is a deeply personal experience, a relationship between the individual soul and its creator. Certain truths, especially for those chosen by God, must remain guarded until the proper time. There is great power in this discernment, allowing God to work through the silence and within our hearts. Let's explore 5 crucial areas of our lives that are best kept between you and the Lord. First, consider your dreams and visions. In Lewis's work, The Weight of Glory, he describes how God places desires and longings in our hearts as a foretaste of something greater. These dreams are not merely for us to proclaim prematurely but to nurture in the quietness of our souls. Like Joseph in the Bible, who was betrayed after sharing his God-given dreams too soon, revealing your vision at the wrong time can invite unnecessary opposition. Dreams are fragile. Like seeds planted in soil, they need time to take root and grow under God's careful watch before they are strong enough to face the world. To share too early is to risk allowing others to trample on what is yet to fully blossom. Secondly, there are your personal pains and struggles. These are often the most intimate parts of our walk with God, the areas where we feel most vulnerable. It's human to seek comfort from others in times of difficulty, but not everyone is equipped to understand or carry the weight of your burdens. Lewis, in The Problem of Pain, touches on the mystery of suffering, acknowledging that while pain is part of our earthly experience, its true purpose is often only understood in the context of our relationship with God. Sharing your pain with those who cannot comprehend its divine significance may lead to misunderstanding or even exploitation, but when you lay your pain before God, He is able to transform it in ways that go beyond human comprehension, turning your trials into testimonies. The third area to guard closely is your good deeds and acts of service. We live in a world that thrives on recognition and validation, but as Lewis reminds us in Mere Christianity, true humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. Jesus himself commanded that our good works be done in secret, with the knowledge that God sees all. The applause of man is fleeting, but the reward of serving with a pure heart is eternal. By keeping your acts of kindness between you and the Lord, you store up treasures in heaven where no earthly praise can compare. Next, your weaknesses. We are often taught to hide our flaws, yet the Bible speaks of how God's strength is made perfect in our weakness, 2 Corinthians 12:9. Lewis eloquently reflects on this in The Four Loves, where he writes about the vulnerability that comes with loving and being loved by God. Sharing your weaknesses with others, especially those who may not understand the work God is doing in your life, can open the door to judgment and criticism. But when you bring your flaws to God, He uses them as opportunities for growth and transformation. In His hands, even your greatest vulnerabilities can become the foundation of your strength. Lastly, there is the matter of your future plans. In a world obsessed with instant gratification and constant updates, we often feel compelled to broadcast our next steps. However, Scripture teaches us that the future is not for us to control, but for God to reveal in His time. As Lewis states in the Screwtape Letters, there is no neutral ground in the universe. Every square inch, every split second is claimed by God. By keeping your plans close to your heart, you give God room to guide your steps without interference from external forces or premature expectations. In conclusion, silence and discretion are not signs of weakness or fear, but are marks of wisdom and strength. As Lewis beautifully conveys in his writings, the Christian journey is one of faith, trust, and quiet obedience. By keeping certain matters between you and God, you allow space for Him to work in ways that surpass human understanding. Your dreams, struggles, acts of service, weaknesses, and future plans are sacred elements of your relationship with Him, meant to be nurtured in the secret place of your heart, until they are ready to be revealed according to His divine timing. Let this silence be your strength, knowing that God is at work, shaping your path in ways that are both unseen and miraculous. 1. Your financial situation. One of the most reckless behaviors we can observe today is the tendency to flaunt financial success, earnings, and assets, particularly in the age of social media. There's a deep desire in many hearts to be seen, validated, and admired, which manifests through the ostentatious display of wealth. It might begin as a simple need for recognition, but the allure of attention can quickly morph into prideful vanity. Proverbs 13:11 offers a timeless warning: wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. This wisdom speaks directly to the hearts of those who find themselves trapped in the cycle of superficial validation, reminding them that wealth built through patience, care, and quiet diligence will last. For many, the temptation to showcase financial gain is fueled by deeper insecurities, unresolved fears of not being enough, of not being seen for who they truly are beyond the material. These hidden fears often drive people to seek approval through outward displays, whether it's lavish vacations, luxury purchases, or boasting about assets. Beneath every flashy post or expensive display lies a hunger for recognition, a thirst to feel worthy in a world that equates value with material success. But these are fleeting forms of validation, quick to dissolve in the absence of deeper, spiritual fulfillment. The pain of feeling unseen or inadequate is often buried beneath layers of curated images and filtered success stories. People desire connection, meaning, and a sense of belonging, but they are told that these can only be achieved through material success. What is often overlooked is the inner emptiness that comes from basing one's worth on temporary riches. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing one's life to the perfectly polished moments others share, forgetting that true wealth is found not in what we display but in the quiet moments of stewardship, faith, and spiritual growth. Wise individuals, however, understand a different truth. They recognize that the true path to lasting success and peace isn't paved with quick gains or public accolades, but through steady, humble work done in private. Wealth, whether material or spiritual, is best gathered little by little. This isn't only about money, it's about cultivating character, integrity, and a spirit aligned with deeper values. The steady accumulation of both material and spiritual riches allows one to remain grounded, even in the face of life's uncertainties. It's in these moments of patient growth that true prosperity, one that endures, takes root. At the core of this journey is the understanding that our worth cannot and should not be measured by the transitory symbols of wealth and success. Houses, cars, and vacations may bring momentary pleasure, but they are fleeting, impermanent. They offer no lasting comfort to the soul. Instead, they often pull us further away from the deeper callings of life, our spiritual growth, and our faith in a higher power that provides true fulfillment. When we rely too heavily on material displays, we begin to take our trust away from God, placing it instead in the hands of things that can be lost in an instant. The internal struggle many face is between their genuine desire for connection, love, and meaning, and the societal pressure to showcase their worth through material gain. It's a battle between the ego, which seeks validation in outward appearances, and the soul, which yearns for true, lasting connection to something greater than itself. The world may encourage you to measure your value by your bank account, your status symbols, and your social standing, but these are distractions from the true path to fulfillment. Instead of seeking validation from others through wealth and status, focus on nurturing the part of you that craves deeper connection to yourself, to others, and to God. Spiritual growth, after all, is the greatest wealth we can cultivate. It is through this that we find not only peace but a sense of lasting prosperity that no amount of money or material possession can bring. True wealth is not displayed for others to admire, but lived quietly through acts of service, kindness, and unwavering faith. When you stop measuring yourself by the fleeting standards of worldly wealth and turn instead to the eternal values of patience, humility, and trust in God's plan, you find a sense of peace that no amount of money can buy. The journey towards financial success, when coupled with spiritual stewardship, becomes a pathway to lasting joy, not a source of anxiety or competition. In this modern age, where social media perpetuates the illusion that happiness and success are defined by what you can show, it's important to remember that real success is internal. The most successful people are not those with the most followers or the most lavish lifestyle, but those who have found contentment, who live in alignment with their values, and who quietly gather their riches, both material and spiritual, little by little, trusting that everything is unfolding in divine timing. Don't fall into the trap of seeking approval through the display of wealth. Instead, cultivate a life of quiet abundance, where your focus is on spiritual growth, genuine connections, and discreet stewardship. In doing so, you align yourself with the kind of wealth that lasts, one built not on fleeting status symbols, but on the enduring foundation of faith, trust, and patience. As you grow in this way, you will attract the kind of prosperity that not only sustains you but also enriches the lives of those around you. 2. Your future plans and dreams. Your future plans and dreams are the treasures of your soul the deepest desires that reflect who you are and who you hope to become. Yet, in a world where external voices and opinions can cloud your vision, these dreams must be carefully guarded, nurtured, and held close to your heart. One of the most profound lessons in life is learning when to speak and when to remain silent, especially when it comes to your future aspirations. Not every hope you carry is ready for the world to see, and exposing it too soon can invite opposition, misunderstanding, or even sabotage. The inner world of those who dream is often a complex blend of hope, vulnerability, and fear. Your dreams, especially the ones that burn brightly in your heart, can feel fragile. There is a deep fear that by sharing them too soon, they might be misunderstood or worse, ridiculed by those who don't share your vision. This is where the wisdom of silence becomes invaluable. In Proverbs 29:11, we are reminded that a fool expresses all his feelings, but the wise suppress them. Silence in this context is not a weakness but a powerful act of protection and preservation. It shields your soul from premature exposure to the doubts and disbelief of others. Many of us, in moments of excitement or eagerness, rush to share our dreams. We crave validation, the approval of others, or just the comfort of feeling understood. However, the enemy of progress thrives on information, on the bits and pieces of your aspirations that you leave scattered in casual conversations. The more you divulge, the more fuel is provided to those who may consciously or unconsciously work against you. This is why it is crucial to learn to restrain yourself, to hold on to your dreams until they have matured, until they are strong enough to withstand the external forces that may come against them. Consider the biblical example of Mary, the mother of Jesus. She was entrusted with an incredible promise, a vision so miraculous that it could have easily been dismissed or misunderstood by those around her. Yet rather than broadcasting her revelation, Mary incubated it in silence, pondering it within her heart until the appointed time. Her silence was not an act of fear, but one of faith. She knew that her dream needed time to develop and unfold according to God's perfect timing. This example serves as a reminder that some visions are not meant to be shared immediately. They are too delicate, too precious to be exposed to the harshness of the world before their time. Your dreams are like newborns, fragile in their early stages. Just as a baby needs the warmth and safety of its mother's embrace before being introduced to the world, your dreams require time to be nurtured and protected in their infancy. Prematurely sharing them can invite skepticism, negativity, or unwanted interference. It's tempting to seek validation from others, especially in a world so focused on external approval. But often the best course of action is to quietly surrender your visions to prayer, allowing God to guide their growth and manifestation. In your heart, you may have already imagined the perfect future, the career you wish to pursue, the relationships you want to build, or the impact you hope to have on the world. But not every person is meant to understand the depths of your aspirations. Not every ear is prepared to hear the intricacies of your vision. Instead of allowing anxiety or the desire for approval to push you into prematurely revealing what's in your heart, consider whether those dreams still need time to grow. Some parts of your vision may indeed be meant for sharing, but only with those who have earned your trust, who will nurture your dreams alongside you with encouragement and love. The act of keeping your divine insights private is not about isolation, but about wisdom. It's about knowing that your dreams are sacred and that they deserve a space of safety to develop fully. The enemy operates on assumptions, piecing together fragments of what you reveal. By withholding those revelations, you deny him the ammunition to hinder your progress. As your dreams quietly grow, they are protected from the harshness of criticism and the weight of external expectations. As you move forward in life, remember that there is power and protection in silence. Not all visions are meant for immediate unveiling. Some are given to you for a season of preparation, a time when you are called to cultivate them within yourself, far from the distractions and opinions of others. There is beauty in the process of allowing your dreams to mature before revealing them to the world. This strategic silence not only safeguards your divine purpose, but also ensures that when the time comes for your dreams to be realized, they are strong enough to thrive amidst any adversity. The journey to fulfilling your dreams is deeply personal, often marked by moments of pain, uncertainty, and longing. You may experience frustration, feeling like you are waiting endlessly for something that seems just out of reach. In those moments, your soul may ache, yearning for the breakthrough that feels so distant. But it's in this very waiting, in this quiet incubation of your dreams, that you are being prepared. The universe is aligning everything in your favor, but it requires time, patience, and faith. Trust the process. Trust that the silence you are embracing is not a void, but a sacred space where your dreams are growing, becoming stronger, and preparing for the world. When the time is right, they will emerge, full of power and purpose. By honoring the timing of your revelation, you honor the divine plan for your life. Your dreams will be revealed when they are ready to withstand the world's scrutiny and when you are prepared to step fully into your destiny. In the meantime, hold on to the deep inner knowing that your dreams are worth the wait. Nurture them in silence, protect them with wisdom, and trust that, in God's perfect timing, they will flourish beyond your wildest expectations. 3. Your family matters. In life, one of the most profound challenges is learning how to navigate the delicate matters of family life. As a chosen one, someone who is set apart for a higher calling, this challenge is even greater. You may carry within you the weight of expectation, the burden of responsibility, and the longing for a sense of harmony and peace within your family. But along this journey, one of the hardest lessons to grasp is the importance of protecting the sanctity of your inner circle, your family. It's not just about maintaining privacy, it's about guarding the most sacred parts of your life from unnecessary exposure and vulnerability. There's an intense inner struggle that many face: the need to be seen, to be heard, to have their pain acknowledged. In moments of marital disputes, health concerns, financial pressures, or conflicts with children, it's natural to want to reach out to others, seeking validation or empathy. There's a deep human desire to have someone say, "I understand what you're going through, but there's also a deeper need," one that's often overshadowed by the immediacy of pain, the need to preserve the dignity of your family. This preservation is a kind of love, an act of grace, that shields your loved ones from the judgment and misunderstanding of others. When you expose the most fragile parts of your family life to others, especially in times of conflict or vulnerability, you run the risk of not just airing grievances, but of amplifying them. The problem that was once confined to your home now becomes a public spectacle, a source of gossip, judgment, and perhaps worst of all, a distorted image of those you care about. The truth is, many of the people who you might confide in have their own problems, yet they don't share them with you. Why should your family's intimate struggles become fodder for casual conversations, or worse, for those who might secretly revel in your hardships? We've all heard the saying, "A problem shared is a problem halved," but this isn't always true. Sometimes, sharing with the wrong person can multiply your problem instead of lessening it. There are those who lack the wisdom, empathy, or maturity to handle your family's private matters with the care they deserve. Proverbs 17 tells us, "Whoever promotes love covers an offense." And in 1 Peter 4:8 we are reminded, "Above all, love one another deeply, for love covers a multitude of sins." This means that love, true love, seeks to protect, to heal, to guard, not to expose and gossip. It's a love that says, "I will cover your flaws, not because I ignore them, but because I know that exposing them will do more harm than good." Now, think of your own family. Perhaps you've been through tough times. Maybe you felt the temptation to tell a friend, a coworker, or even to post something on social media out of frustration. But what happens when those moments of vulnerability are placed into the hands of those who don't cherish your family the way you do? They judge, they criticize, they form opinions that may last far longer than the conflict itself. And you are left with the remnants of a broken image, not only of your loved ones, but of your own heart. The Bible offers us a vivid illustration in the story of Mary and Joseph. Imagine if Mary, overwhelmed by Joseph's initial decision to leave her upon discovering her pregnancy, had run to her cousin Elizabeth and complained. Would that have been wise? Would it have helped? Or would it have sown seeds of bitterness and misunderstanding that could never fully be undone? That situation, like so many family conflicts, required wisdom and a commitment to privacy. It required grace, trust, and the willingness to let God work behind the scenes, away from the prying eyes of others. And what about the enemy? The enemy loves nothing more than to turn our pain into resentment, to make us bitter towards the very people we love. This is the bait that traps so many when we open up our private struggles to those who do not have our best interests at heart. We give the enemy a foothold. We allow slander, judgment, and misunderstanding to creep in, poisoning the way others view our family. And once those seeds of negativity are sown, it's incredibly difficult to root them out. Every family will face moments of dysfunction. But instead of letting these moments become a source of public humiliation, what if they became opportunities for grace? What if, instead of running to others, we ran to God, seeking His wisdom and His strength to extend more love, more patience, and more forgiveness? What if we treated these moments as chances to heal in private, allowing God to restore what is broken in the safety of His love, rather than in the glare of public scrutiny? There is immense power in secrecy, not in the sense of hiding sins or wrongdoings, but in preserving the integrity and dignity of your family. As the spiritual leader or priest of your home, it's your responsibility to deal with conflicts internally and seek counsel only from those who are spiritually mature and who will handle your problems with the confidentiality they deserve. Avoid the temptation to overshare on social media or to engage in casual gossip with neighbors and coworkers. These are the vultures who circle waiting for an opportunity to criticize or judge, and they will gladly take any vulnerability you offer them and use it against you. In the end, family matters are sacred. The pain you feel, the frustrations you endure, the moments of conflict, all of these are part of the journey, part of the growth that every family must go through. But they are also private matters, meant to be handled with care, wisdom, and love. By protecting your inner circle from unnecessary exposure, you allow space for healing, for grace, and for God's restorative power to work in your life. And ultimately, this is the breakthrough you seek: a family bound together, not by perfection, but by love, forgiveness, and the willingness to walk through the storm together, away from the judgment of the world. 4. Your first victories and breakthroughs. In the quiet spaces of your heart, where no one else sees, lies a deep ache, a longing for breakthrough, for transformation, and for the fulfillment of promises you've clung to through countless storms. Perhaps you've endured moments of frustration and pain, questioning why your desires seem just out of reach. You are not alone, and this chosen ones often walk paths laden with trials, not because they are undeserving, but because they are being prepared for something far greater than they could imagine. Yet this journey can feel overwhelming, and the temptation to share every victory, every small step forward, is immense. After all, you've worked hard for it. But there's wisdom in waiting, in holding back until the time is right, in nurturing what has begun to bloom in silence. One of the greatest disciplines for those set apart by God is learning to guard their breakthroughs closely, especially in their fragile beginnings. This isn't a sign of fear, but rather a mark of maturity. Proverbs 21:5 tells us, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." This verse is a reminder that while your breakthrough may seem like the climax of your journey, it's still in its infancy, and the timing of its revelation can determine its longevity. The world is eager to pull you into its fast-paced rhythm, encouraging you to announce every victory and flaunt your success. But God's rhythm is different. It's slower, purposeful, and deeply rooted in His divine plan for your life. He calls you to protect the gift He's given you, to wait for the appointed time when it is fully formed and ready to be revealed. Consider the story of David, a man after God's own heart, who was anointed as king while still a boy. He could have easily announced his divine appointment, boasted of the anointing oil still fresh on his head, and declared himself Israel's future king. But David waited. Even after he defeated Goliath, an act that could have skyrocketed him into public glory, David chose to remain quiet. His victory was undeniable, yet he knew that stepping into the fullness of his destiny required more than a single triumph. Had he boasted prematurely, he could have invited enemies that were too strong for him at that moment. Instead, David waited for God's perfect timing, allowing his leadership to grow and mature in the hidden places, away from the public eye. You, too, may find yourself on the brink of something monumental: a promotion, a financial breakthrough, a new opportunity. The excitement is undeniable, but it is crucial to remember that the initial spark of success is not the culmination of your journey, it is only the beginning. Announcing your advancement too early can expose you to envy, spiritual attacks, and unnecessary competition. In this world, success often invites adversaries. Sharing your victories prematurely may awaken those who wish to see you fail before you have the strength to defend what has just begun. In today's culture, where social media encourages us to broadcast every highlight of our lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of sharing too soon. But your breakthrough is sacred. It's a delicate vine that must be nurtured in secret before it can bear fruit for all to see. By keeping your early victories close to your chest, you allow your growth to solidify and your roots to deepen, confusing those who would seek to undermine you. The foundation of your success must be strong enough to withstand the weight of what's to come, and this often requires time spent in silence, away from the spotlight. Think of young entrepreneurs who eagerly proclaim their first business successes. They're excited, understandably so, but in their haste to announce their achievements, they expose their vulnerabilities. The business hasn't yet stabilized, it's still in the process of finding its footing. This kind of premature exposure can invite competition or criticism that they're not yet equipped to handle, jeopardizing the very success they're trying to celebrate. Likewise, in your spiritual journey, don't be quick to announce your first victories. Allow your growth to settle, your roots to take hold, before inviting others to see the fruit of your labor. There's a divine strategy in remaining silent while God is still working behind the scenes. When King Saul was anointed by the prophet Samuel, he wasn't immediately thrown into the spotlight. Samuel told him, "Once these signs are fulfilled, do whatever your hand finds to do, because God is with you." 1 Samuel 10:1. Saul's anointing was a sacred secret, not meant for public display, until the appointed time. God's favor in your life follows the same principle. His timing is perfect, and His plan for you unfolds at just the right moment. Impatience can cause you to miss out on the fullness of the promise. Rushing into the spotlight too soon can rob you of the depth of transformation He intends for you. So, as you walk through this season, take heart. Your breakthrough is coming, but it requires patience and trust. In the quiet, hidden moments where the world isn't watching is where your strength is truly forged. Nurture the seeds of your success in silence, allowing them to grow strong and resilient before they're revealed. Trust that God is orchestrating every detail of your life, even when it feels like nothing is happening. He is preparing you, shaping you, and equipping you for something far greater than you could ever imagine. Your breakthrough is not just about achieving a goal, it's about stepping into a new identity, a new level of purpose and calling. Protect it fiercely, knowing that it is a sacred part of your journey. Allow the fullness of God's promise to unfold in His perfect timing, and when the moment comes to share it with the world, you will stand firm, with roots that run deep and fruit that is ready to be revealed. 5. Your spiritual encounters. The journey of being one of the chosen is not without its trials, and the weight of your mission can sometimes feel overwhelming. Deep within, there is a sacred space where only you and God reside, where dreams, visions, and divine mysteries unfold. These experiences, profound and personal, are gifts given to you for reasons beyond mere understanding. The longing to share them, to bring others into the glory of these moments, can be intense. However, it is vital to protect these encounters, to guard the intimacy of what has been revealed to you in the quiet corners of your soul. As chosen ones, we often grapple with an internal struggle and aching desire for connection, for validation. The world, with its noise and distractions, beckons us to share, to speak of these divine experiences. Yet the Lord sometimes calls us to stillness. Not all sacred moments are meant to be revealed, and there is profound wisdom in discerning when to speak, and when to speak, and when to keep silent. To speak too soon, to turn divine encounters into casual conversations, diminishes their power. In sharing too widely, we risk diluting the purity of what was meant to be cherished and held close. solely between you and the divine. These divine encounters, whether dreams, visions, or angelic visitations, are often deeply personal and meant to guide you on your path. They are intimate conversations between you and God, revelations meant to strengthen your faith, to provide clarity in your mission. In these moments, your heart may ache with the weight of divine truth, but it is also in these moments that your soul expands, touching the edges of eternity. It is here, in the quiet of your spirit, that transformation occurs. Yet, it is also in this quiet space where doubt can creep in. You may question the validity of what you've seen or heard, wondering if you are truly worthy of such revelations. These doubts, these fears, are natural. You are not alone in feeling them. The chosen ones carry a heavy burden, often battling insecurities that whisper, "Why me?" Why now? The pain of isolation, of feeling set apart from the world, can be immense. You may long for the companionship of those who understand the depth of your spiritual experiences, who can validate the truth of what you have seen and heard. But understand this: your path is unique, and so are the revelations given to you. They are not for everyone to understand, nor are they for everyone to witness. It is here that your greatest challenge lies: the art of sacred silence. It is not merely the silence of the tongue, but the silence of the soul, a deep, unwavering trust in the divine plan. This silence is not passive, it is active, a conscious decision to protect the divine gifts you have been entrusted with. It is an acknowledgement that not everything is meant for public consumption, that some things must remain hidden in the folds of your heart, reserved for the moments when the Lord calls you to action. This silence is not easy. In a world that glorifies exposure and oversharing, keeping sacred matters private feels counterintuitive. Yet this very act of holding on to divine mysteries, of protecting the sanctity of your spiritual experiences, is where true power lies. In this quiet strength, you are cultivating the peace necessary for your mission. Every unspoken word, every moment held back in reverence, is a testament to your faith, your trust in God's timing. As you walk this path, remember that you are not alone. There is a community of like-minded souls, fellow seekers of wisdom, who understand the weight of the divine call. They, too, carry the burden of silence, the sacred responsibility of safeguarding their spiritual encounters. Reach out to them, not in a plea for validation, but in shared understanding. In this circle, there is power, a collective strength that binds you all in purpose, in mission. And yet, even within this community, discernment is key. Not every revelation is meant to be shared, not even among the trusted. God may call you to speak boldly at times, to uplift and encourage others through your testimony. But be wise in knowing when to reveal and when to remain silent. There is beauty in the unsaid, in the quiet moments of stillness where only you and God converse. These are the moments that shape you, that prepare you for the breakthrough you have been waiting for. For those chosen, this journey is one of both immense privilege and immense challenge. The longing to share your experiences, to have them understood and appreciated, will always be there. But remember this: your mission is not one of recognition or validation. It is one of service, of quiet strength, and of sacred trust. The Lord has given you a piece of the divine, a glimpse into the mysteries of the universe, and with that comes the responsibility to honor these moments with reverence and care. May the Lord grant you the wisdom to know when to speak and when to hold your peace. In this sacred silence, you will find safety, power, and beauty. And as you protect these divine encounters, you will prepare yourself for the mission ahead, for the incredible journey that awaits you. In conclusion, my friends, remember that your journey is not for the world to see in its entirety. The divine encounters, the visions, the prophecies, these are yours to hold, to nurture in the quiet of your heart. Keep a low profile, protect what has been entrusted to you, and know that you are part of a loyal circle of wisdom seekers. Through your support, this community continues to grow, and through this shared silence, we become stronger. May you be abundantly blessed, today and always.